All right, Sam. So this is going over what's called synthetic division. So this is dividing with polynomials. All right, so if you think back to like elementary school, you first started learning division, like you would have like this, right? And you say, how many times does 4 go into 8? You would subtract, and so you say your answer is 2. And then eventually you got to the point where you would have like remainders, and you could say remainder 2 and all these other things. So this was division, right? So we've done adding, subtracting, and multiplying polynomials. So like 2x times 2x plus 3, when you distribute, that's just multiplying polynomials. And then if we had like 4x squared plus 3x plus 2, all of that, subtract 2x squared plus 3x minus 5. So that was, when you combine like terms, that's just subtracting polynomials. Or if we change that, that would be adding, right? So then the last operation that we need to do is called synthetic division, or is division. And so there's a shortcut to this. Now, you can divide this polynomial. We can set it up like this. I could put x plus 5 and then do my long division. The only problem with that is it's really long, really tedious. So there's a shortcut, and we call it synthetic division. All right, so I'm going to go through the steps with you on these. Please have this worksheet out in front of you, and while I'm doing it, I want you to also be doing it. That way you can kind of learn this as we go. Okay? All right, so on this first one, so something to remember is that when we do synthetic division, whatever number we start with, this exponent here, you need to look in your problem. You should always have every number below 5. It should always go in descending order, with the last number always being a number without a variable. So think back to like quadratics. We always had 2x squared plus 3x minus 7. So like here we have x squared, we have x to the first, or just x, and then just your number. So if I start with x to the 5th, I should then have x to the 4th, x to the 3rd, squared to the first, or just x, right? That's how we write it. And then just a number, so no x at all. All right, so you should always have every single term. Now, if you don't have every single term, then what we do is we put a 0 placeholder in for that, okay? So if we look at this, if I'm looking here, I see I have x to the 5th, x to the 4th, but I am missing x to the 3rd, x squared, and x. So all of those are zeros, okay? I'm just putting it right here just to remind myself of that. So with synthetic division, we start off with this part right here, what we're dividing by. I see this is a plus 5, so I'm going to flip the sign, and I put a minus 5, and I put it in like a little box or a little corner. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the coefficient, so the big number out in front, right? There's really a 1 there. I'm going to use all of these coefficients, and I'm going to list them in a line here. I do not want any variables. I just want the numbers. So I have 1, 5. So that's x to the 5th, x to the 4th. My x to the 3rd is 0, x squared is 0, and x is 0. And then my last one is 4. All right, we leave a little space. And then the first number comes straight down no matter what every single time. The first one comes straight down. And then we do this thing that I refer to as the bouncy ball multiplication, all right? So now you don't need to draw these dotted lines. I'm just trying to show you what I'm meaning by bouncy ball multiplication. So we have -5, and we're gonna go down here, and we're gonna times it by 1, and then you put the answer under the next number. So -5 times 1 equals -5. Now, when we go straight down, anytime you're going straight down, we are going to add. Straight down means add. So 5 plus -5 is 0. All right, and now we repeat the process. So -5 times 0 is 0. Add going straight down. -5 times 0 is 0. Add going straight down. Now, this is a unique problem in the fact that we have lots of zeros. We're not always going to have lots of zeros. -5 times 0 is 0. Add going straight down. -5 times 0 is 0. Add going straight down. Now, this last number, I always put in a corner as well. Now, this is going to be your remainder. Okay, so this is always your remainder. Now sometimes this number is going to be 0, which means you have no remainder. Sometimes you have a number here. That means you have a remainder. All right, so then to write our answer, these are the coefficients to all my terms. Now, my original problem started with x to the 5th. That means that my answer then has to start 1 less than that. And then we count down. So if this is 5, then my answer is going to start with x to the 4th. And this is 1x to the 4th because that's a 1, but I don't have to write the 1 in front of it. This is my x cubed term, or x to the 3rd. So since that's a 0, I don't need to write it. There's my x squared term. It's a 0. I don't have to write it. There's my x term. It's a 0. I don't have to write it. And then there's just my number. It's 0. I don't have to write it. And then I have my remainder. Now, my remainder is a positive answer, so I'm going to use plus. If my remainder was negative, I'd use minus. And we're going to make a little fraction here. We put 4 over this number, or this expression that we were dividing by, x plus 5. All right, and then that's it. That's your answer. Now, this was kind of a weird problem, so let's do a couple more before I have you try some. All right, so on this one, we're going to start here. This is a positive 5, so on the outside, I'm going to write negative 5. Okay, and then I'm going to check all of my terms here. I have x to the 5th, x to the 5th, 4. Oh, missing to the 3rd, so I'm going to put that in there. 2nd, 1st, and then just a number. So I'm writing my coefficients. So I have 1, 5, 0, negative 9, negative 45, negative 2. So again, here, 1, 5, 0, negative 9, negative 45, negative 2. All right, we leave a little space and draw our line. First number comes straight down every single time. Negative 5 times 5 is negative 5. Add going straight down is 0. Negative 5 times 0 is 0. Add straight down is 0. I apologize for all these zeros. Normally there's not this many. Negative 5 times 0 is 0. Add going straight down, we get negative 9. Negative 5 times negative 9 is positive 45, which gives us 0. And then negative 5 times 0 is 0. So then my remainder is negative 2. So then writing my answer, this started with x to the 5th, so my answer is going to start at x to the 4th. This is to the 3rd, to the 2nd, here's to the 1st, so minus 9x, and then I don't need to put like plus 0 or anything. Then I use minus because my remainder is negative, 2 over x plus 5. And that's your answer. Okay? All right, let's jump down to number 4. We are going to do number 3, but let's do number 4 really quickly. All right, so I start here. I'm putting a negative 9 out here on the outside. I'm going to check to make sure I have all of my terms. So I have 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just a number. So no need for zeros. So I have a 1 and a 1, negative 77, negative 41, and 42. So this is my x to the 4th term, x to the 3rd, x squared, x, and then just my number. Leave a little space, draw a line, first number comes straight down. Negative 9 times 1 is negative 9, add going straight down. Negative 9 times negative 8 is a positive 72, add going straight down, and it leaves me with negative 5. Negative 9 times negative 5 is a positive 45, add going straight down, and you'll get 4. Negative 9 times 4 is negative 36. Add going straight down, I have 6. All right, so then I write my answer. This was x to the 4th, so my answer starts 1 less. So this is x to the 3rd minus 8x squared minus 5x plus 4 plus 6 over x plus 9. And that's your answer. Okay? All right, and then if we look at 3, 5, and 6, what's different about these is if you notice now I have a number here in front of the x in what I'm dividing by. Here I just had x plus 9, x plus 5, and x plus 5. So there was no number in front of that x value. So now I have a number in front of that x value. So in order to get rid of that number, I'm going to have to divide everything by whatever number that is. So we're going to divide everything by 4. Now, with that, sometimes we'll be able to divide evenly, and sometimes we'll have to leave it as a fraction, okay? So let's go over a couple things with fractions really quickly. So if I want to take 4 times 1/3, in order to do that, you take your whole number times your top number, which is 4, keep the same denominator. Okay, again, if I had 5 times 2/3, you take the whole number times the top number, keep your denominator. Okay, and then if I wanted to add fractions, so if I have this and I want to add, they already have common denominators, so I only add the top. So this would be 6/3. All right, and then I could have like this plus -7/3. So this would be 10 plus -7, which gives me 3/3. Okay, so when you add and you have the same denominator, you just add the top number, keep it, and then keep your denominator. All right, and then when multiplying, you're going to multiply the whole number times the top number, keep your denominator. All right. Okay, so let's look back again at question number 3. So I've divided everything by 4, so I still start right here. Now, if this divides to a whole number, we're going to go ahead and divide it out. Now, let's say this was 9/4. Do not simplify that, okay? If it doesn't simplify to a whole number, leave it as a fraction. Don't simplify it into lowest terms, all right? So 8 divided by 4 is 2. This is a plus, so out here in the corner we do the opposite, so we put minus. 4 divided by 4 leaves me with 1. 44 divided by 4 leaves me with 11. 64 divided by 4 is 16. -20 divided by 4 is -5. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And 47 divided by 4, I can't simplify, so I leave it. Leave a space. First number comes straight down every single time, no matter what. Same process as before. -2 times 1 is -2. -2 times 9 is -18. Again, add going straight down. -2 times -2 is a +4. Add going straight down. -2 times -1 is a +2. Add going straight down. And then -2 times 5 is -10. Now, notice that this is a fraction and this is not. So we cannot just say, oh, 47 plus -10 is -37. We can't do that. So instead, I need to convert -10 into a number, into a fraction with a denominator of 4. We want a denominator of 4 so that we can add these very easily. So I want 4 on the bottom. So in order to get 4 on the bottom, we are going to take this whole number and we're going to multiply it by 4. Now, if I wanted my denominator to be 3, then I would multiply by 3. If I wanted it to be 5, then I'd multiply by 5. So -10 times 4 gives me -40. Now, I can add just the top numbers. So 47 plus -40 is 7/4. The key thing here is if you have a remainder that is a fraction, make sure the bottom number is the same thing as what you're dividing by, okay? Now, another way you can do that, another way you can do this is you can go to your calculator and I can type in, let's see what the problem was. So parentheses 47 divided by 4 plus -10. It gives me the decimal, and then what I can do is I can hit math, enter, enter, and it gives it to me as a fraction. Okay, so you can do that as well. But again, you got to make sure this bottom number is the same as what this number is up here that you're dividing by. So this was x to the 5th, so my answer is going to be x to the 4th plus 9x cubed minus 2x squared minus x plus 5. This is a positive, so 7/. So we only use the top number. We don't care about the bottom number. And then we divide it or put it over the original thing we were dividing by. So 4x plus 8. And that is your answer. Okay? All right, one last one, and then I'm going to let you work on some. All right, last one. So there's a 4 in front of this x. So I'm going to divide everything by 4. All right, so negative 7 over 4, I can't simplify. That doesn't divide into an even or a whole number. So I'm going to leave it. But this is minus, so I flip the sign, and this is going to be positive 7/4. 36 divided by 4 is 9. Negative 43 divided by 4, I can't simplify, so I'm going to leave it. And then we have it again. So we have 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just a number. We have all of our terms. So negative 6 over 4. Now, it's tempting to convert that to negative 3 over 2, but don't do that because we want 4 to be our denominator so that we can add very easily. And then 39 over 4. Leave space. First number comes straight down. Now, like we were talking about before, I have a whole number times a fraction. So I'm going to take 7 times 9, which gives me 63. Keep your denominator. So what students have been doing in class is they're forgetting to put the 4 underneath as the denominator. So don't forget that. Now that I have two fractions, they both have the same bottom number, I'm just going to add the top numbers. So negative 43 plus 63 gives me 20 over 4. Now this simplifies to 5, and you must simplify this. Don't leave it as a fraction because that's going to make your multiplying really difficult, so don't do it. So this stays, or this converts to 5. So now I take 5 times 7 is 35 over 4. Negative 43 plus 35, I'm just going to add the top numbers. So that leaves me with negative 8 over 4. Now negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2. And then 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. Again, make sure you put it over 4. Negative 6 plus negative 14 is negative 20 over 4, which is negative 5. 7 times negative 5 is negative 35 over 4. So then I'm left with 4 over 4. Now, you would be tempted to simplify that to 1, but don't. Just leave it alone. Always leave your remainder how it is. All right, so then to write my answer, my problem started with x to the 4th, so my answer starts with x to the 3rd plus 5x squared minus 2x minus 5 plus 4 over the original thing that we were dividing by, 4x minus 7. Now, a couple things really quickly is right here, when you add these two fractions together, you should get a fraction that can always simplify to a whole number. If you don't, you did something wrong. You need to go back and stop and fix what you did wrong. Your remainder is the only one that can stay a fraction, all right? And that's okay. It's okay to have your remainder as a fraction. You just got to make sure your bottom number is always the number that you divided by originally, okay? All right, so you have question 5. And then on the back, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so I would like for you to do those problems. Also included in your packet is the answer key to this. So I want you to take your time, work this out, and then check your work with the answer key and make sure you're doing it correctly. If you have questions, please, 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 please feel free to reach out to me on Schoology. I'll be happy to help no matter what. All right? And then after this is worksheet number 4, and then you have worksheet number 5 as well. And you will turn this in so that you can get credit for doing the work. All right, Sam, if you need any help, please feel free to call or to message me on Schoology. That's the easiest, best way. All right, thanks.